Hi, we're Paula and Marie, and today we're joined by Saleh from the left and Manal from the EPP, the European People Party. And we're going to be asking them similar questions to the press conference, but only hoping that right now we're going to get more specific and in-depth information. So, yeah.
Okay, my first question is especially for Manal, but I want you to contrast your opinions. So I wanted to ask, you have repeatedly claimed that, in your proposal, how would you approach the integration of older workers and unemployed people to digital literacy?
So, in the APP, we believe that job security for the workers is a must, but agility and the ability to prepare them for next jobs for the future is a must. So we highly encourage training and continuous development within the framework of their companies and out of their companies so they can stay prepared for the jobs of the future.
Okay, and what about your party? What do you think about this?
As the left, I think we need to protect the workers by combining digital education with job training and labor rights. And of course, we support the community-led programs where local people help shape the training they actually need.
Okay, but I was asking about how could you integrate the older workers and the unemployed people?
Okay, my answer for this is we need to do more like trainings for especially the older peoples. So that's how we're gonna do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next question is about if we're gonna teach people about digital literacy, they're gonna be in contact way more with like phones and tablets and everything. How are you gonna manage screen addiction? Because we're all familiar with screen addiction. How do you want to like guide it, that it doesn't get out of hand? And if someone or if people do struggle with the addiction, how would you help them with it? How would you support them?
Well, this thematic in itself is out of the scope of the discussion of our session. However, educating people about the phone's addiction, the addiction to technology, form part of the digital literacy. As one of the definitions that we were fighting to slightly amend is not to define digital literacy just as understand, use, and know how to evaluate basic technological devices, but also to know how to integrate it and to have that critical mind when you are using these devices. So that goes hand in hand with digital literacy.
And for you?
Okay, for me, I think we can we can warn the people about how to use the screens, and everybody should know like there's a time for the screens and there's a time to rest. So not going consistent on the screens, and the digital literacy is not all about screens. So it's not going to be a big problem for us.
Okay, we all know that some countries and rural communities lack resources and budget to implement proposals on their own. What mechanisms would you use to ensure that your proposals doesn't exacerbate inequalities in rural and low-income areas?
Okay, so for the EPP, we are strong believers that local communities are the ones that know best their needs. So we do believe in this, and we believe that in a mixed model where local communities, private sector, alongside with the government can go hand in hand in partnerships in order to foment to the best digital literacy policies that can tackle to these minorities, to also to the marginalized groups, and to the large population at the same time, while still taking into consideration the particularities of these communities.
Well, we are aware that countries are more aware of their necessities, but some countries don't have the budget to implement that measures. Our question was, what would you do to ensure that they can implement these kind of measures and proposals?
Okay, so for the EPP, we are one of the parties that firmly believe in the partnership with the private sector.
Okay.
We want to empower the people, but we don't want to strain their taxes, or we don't want it to pull everything from their taxes. So we believe that since the industry and the private sector is leading in this digital era, and they have the means and they can invest to collaborate with these countries and lead to a framework where we can negotiate a partnership between the private and public sector so they can have the funds they need, the investment they need, while collaborating with the private sector.
What about the left?
Okay. For us, I think, of course, we can support the countries that couldn't do this. I don't agree with the idea of involving private sectors in this. So I think we should publicly support them. We are one union, so of course we're going to help each other. So yes, we will public fund these countries, and it will work.
Okay, do you have any answer to him?
Well, the ideal is to have some kind of funding for the countries that can't afford it. But where would you pull the funds from? From the taxpayers? From the funds from the health or education?
Okay.
We believe in something that is doable, practical, sustainable, and that can be scalable.
Okay. As I said, the left believes digital literacy is a right, not a market service. We've proposed funding this through existing EU programs like ESF Plus and Digital Europe and ERDF, as well as by introducing fair taxation on big tech. So the companies profiting from digitalization help fund access. We engage in dialogue with EPP, who support private sector involvement. While we respect their view, of course, we've been clear: education must remain under public control and not dictated by profit.
Okay, we have only 2 minutes left, so I want to ask a quick question that you can answer together. We have talked about the importance of regularization.
For?
Regulation.
Yes.
So we know that it's fundamental, but we also know that approving legislation and all democratic procedure takes a lot of time. So how would you implement these measures and about them to become obsolete?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't get the whole idea of your question. Can you simplify it?
Okay, we know that we have to approve legislation in this area, but we also know that it takes a lot of time. How would you do it without the measures becoming obsolete?
Okay, of course we have to do it like in a way that it don't take like that time. There's a lot of solutions we can search for, and I think it's not going to be that problem.
Well, in the EPP, it's mostly aligned with the session, with the talk that we had this morning about digital literacy. At some point, we need to choose either to be leaders in the digital era or to be regulating the digital era. So for the EPP, we do believe that we need regulation to protect the human rights in this digital era, but still, we shouldn't be over-regulating, nor we should put regulations that are over-centralized and maybe leave some flexibility for the local communities to adjust them to their needs and adjust them to their local context. This way, we wouldn't be dragged in the bureaucracy and wouldn't be releasing regulations too late for us to use.
Okay, another question that I had was, okay, we're out of time, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
for all
you.
your questions and your answers.
It was a honor having you here. So thank you very much.
The pleasure is
Thank you.
ours.